Hello architects, welcome to my channel where learning art is fun. I'm Sarah and in today's video I'm going to give you some do's and don'ts for drawing with charcoal. And I've laid out the materials I'm going to use, which I'll detail in the description box below if you want to go and check those out. And yes, that is a piece of bread in the top left hand corner of the screen, which isn't my lunch, so keep watching and all will be revealed later on. But before we get into the do's and don'ts, I thought it would be worth mentioning quickly the different types of charcoal and showing you how they lay down on paper and compare to each other. So the first type, which you've probably seen at school, is the willow or fine charcoal. This comes in long sticks, is very light and soft, so it does break quite easily. It is easy to get hold of though, it's not expensive to buy, and if used lightly it is easy to erase. You can also get a good range of values depending on the pressure applied, but it's not as easy to get fine details with compared to, say, the charcoal pencils. You can also use it on the end or on the side if you want to cover larger areas. So the next type is the compressed charcoal, which comes in sticks or blocks. It is harder, so less likely to break, but it's also harder to erase. Again, you can use this on the end or on the side as before. So finally we have charcoal pencils, and here I'm showing you a charcoal holder, which can be useful to help you prevent getting messy, as well as give you a better grip and more control over the marks you make. It can also be sharpened to a point, which is great for details. So the other charcoal pencils I've got to show you look like any other pencil. They have a wood casing and so are less messy than the willow charcoal or the compressed charcoal, and have the added advantage that you can sharpen them to a fine point for detailed areas. They also come in different tones, so here I have a light and a dark. And although the pencils have more of a precision tip like a regular pencil, you can still cover larger areas by holding your pencil at an angle to use the side of the charcoal. So these different types of charcoal have slightly different properties, advantages and disadvantages, but let's look now at what we should or shouldn't do when applying them to paper. And talking of paper, my first don't is don't use a really smooth or shiny paper. Instead, choose one with a textured or rougher surface, which will give the charcoal something to grip onto. And before we apply our charcoal to our paper, let's talk a bit about sharpening. How do you sharpen charcoal? Well, what you don't do is use a regular pencil sharpener. This might be obvious for the thinner willow charcoal, but because charcoal is much softer than graphite in your regular pencil, it won't work with a regular pencil sharpener. And you'll probably find that the charcoal keeps breaking, and this will be the same with a mechanical or crank handle sharpener as well. So the best way to sharpen charcoal is with sandpaper. And just by rubbing this across the sandpaper, you can, through moving around into different directions, get quite a nice fine point. So the next thing to look at is how we hold the charcoal. This is especially important if you're using the sticks. So don't try and hold it like a regular pencil. Instead, hold the charcoal with your hand over it, like you can see me doing here. This might take a bit of getting used to, but holding it like this will give you the ability to make looser, more gestural marks, which makes charcoal so unique. Another bit of advice I would suggest that you do is to place a piece of paper or tracing paper under your hand. This is to protect your work from smudging, as working with charcoal can be messy. Or you could, if you had one, use an easel to tilt your drawing surface so that any charcoal dust falls away from your work. So now that's all said, let's apply some charcoal onto that paper, and my first don't here is to not go straight in with the darkest charcoal you have, because it's harder to erase and you may not want permanent dark lines around your sketch. And another tip is definitely don't start at the bottom of your page or drawing if you want to minimise smudging. The other thing I'm doing wrong on this side is I'm using zigzag lines in all directions, which will be harder to smooth out or blend in later on. And And yes, another mistake I make here is that I've brushed the excess charcoal dust away with my hand. So this does create a lot of smudging and can ruin your drawing. But onto the do side, I'm going to use a piece of tracing paper under my hand, and instead of going in with my darkest charcoal, I'm going to begin with my lightest willow charcoal. Taking care to hold it carefully, and I'm going to start at the top of my paper this time, to avoid brushing over my work with either my tracing paper or my hand. So charcoal needn't be messy if you know how to use it. So what you should do with charcoal is to build up the charcoal in layers. So it's easier to go darker if you need to, and working like this, it gives you more control over the end result. Also see that this time I'm not using harsh zigzag lines, I'm using light circular motions, which will result in a much smoother, even coverage when we come to blend. So let's talk blending, and on the don't side, I would say don't use a paintbrush. As you could see when I did it there, it did just brush all the charcoal across the paper. So that didn't really work. On the do side, however, the best thing that you can do is to use a blending stump. Not forgetting to put your tracing paper under your hand. So the blending stump or tortillon, or even a tissue, basically anything that pushes the charcoal into the tooth of the paper. And again, when I'm using this paper stump, I'm using small circular motions which give a nice, even, smooth result with a lot more control and predictability than a paintbrush. You can also use your finger if you haven't got a paper stump, which I wouldn't normally advise as our fingers have oils in them, which would normally mess up a graphite drawing, for example, but it doesn't seem to have the same effect on charcoal. And once you've blended in your first layer, you can easily then add another layer and add in darker areas. And then you can blend again. So I then went in with my lighter charcoal pencil, blended that in, and now I can go in with yet another layer of the darker charcoal pencil. And you can keep going until you get the desired result. And you'll notice as well that to get rid of the charcoal dust, I'm just tapping the page off so that it falls onto my desk and out of the way from my hand and the rest of my drawing. So I think you'll agree that the do side looks a lot better than the don't side. So on to erasing then. What is the best way to do that? Well, on the don't side, I'm using a regular plastic pencil top eraser. So this sort of eraser is not good for erasing charcoal because, as you can see, as soon as you put pressure onto your paper, you end up smudging the charcoal because you're effectively just pushing the charcoal around the area you're trying to erase. This method is messy and not very effective. So instead, what you should do is use a kneadable eraser. And if you haven't got one of these, you can use blue tack. So this method, rather than pushing the charcoal around the page, actually lifts it off. And notice I'm not dragging the eraser across the page, rather than that I'm just dabbing at it to lift that charcoal off. You can then have a play about with the kneaded eraser, kind of fold it in on itself and get a new clean area to lift off some more charcoal should you want to. And you can also mould that kneaded eraser to a fine point to get finer details in if you want, or you can use it in a larger sort of flatter shape if you wanted to lift off larger areas. And this works especially well if you've applied your charcoal in light layers like we suggested earlier on, and it'll be a lot easier than if you've gone in with a lot of pressure with your darkest charcoal straight away. So now for the fun bit, and another way to erase charcoal is with bread. I know it sounds a bit strange, and to be honest, as much as I've heard this works, I've never actually tried it out, so I thought it would be fun to have a go today. So you do need to remove the crusts off first, so you can have those for your lunch, and then just mould the inside soft piece of bread in your hands to create a ball. And once you've done this, you're good to go. So let's try this out. I'm excited to see if this is going to work. And it does appear to be. You can see the bread actually lifting that charcoal off. It's doing a pretty good job. And there may be a few crumbs around, but that's no big problem. So I've been able to neaten up our smudgy don'ts picture, and I'm pretty impressed. So I give bread a big thumbs up. Anyway, Architects, I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, comment and subscribe, and join me on Friday when we'll be putting these quick tips into practice to create another fun drawing. Bye!